Hey everybody, it's Paul here again, and today I'm going to tackle something that I'm probably the least qualified person in the world to tackle, but I do this all the time, so I thought I'd give you the short version. Basic color grading, how simple it is. It's really not as difficult to get a more professional look than you would think. A lot of people think you got to go get, Red Giant, or you got to get DaVinci Resolve. I think the pro version of DaVinci Resolve is really freaking expensive, and the light version is like really not as expensive if you're a professional. But oh my gosh, who has that kind of money? And I'm pretty sure that the Red Giant looks is somewhere in the neighborhood of $400. So, and if you're paying for Adobe CC, you have access to Speed Grade, which is pretty darn good in its own right. But a lot of people get kind of like intimidated by the interface, the histograms and everything else that's there. So if you're just Joe Schmo and you want to know how to color grade using the tools that are built into Premiere or After Effects, this is the video for you. So I'm going to show you 4 shots. Here's one of them, and I'm going to show you how simple it is to color grade these 4 shots, and I'm going to do this in like under 10 minutes. So we're going to move through this really fast. These are different types of shots. So let's get started. So the first thing you want to do when you want to understand color grading, you need to understand the basic primary color wheel and complementary colors. And you can go to Adobe, they have an interactive color wheel, which is really cool. And you can grab these markers here and you can move them around, and you're going to see the opposing complementary colors. So when you're dealing with the color wheels in your Lumetri plugin that's part of Premiere and After Effects, you'll see these 3-way color wheels, and they'll deal with the lows, the mediums, and the highs. And the primary goal is you're going to make a decision based off of one side or the other. Now, the cinematic color grade that is most common thing in Hollywood today, you see this in Batman, Superman, you see in all the big Hollywood productions, is what they call the amber teal color grade. And the amber teal color grade is like somewhere right in there, and probably a little bit lower, but that's so there all the brights have this amber kind of goldish look to them. You watch Iron Man, you see that. When you get to the darks, it gets they use a teal, and you see that a lot. And you can see that in any movie out there. Just go watch the movie, any movie. Just start looking for that, and you'll see it. So, long story short, in the end, it's still a creative decision on which direction you're going to go. And one way you can go is you can do and I'm going to set this up because I'm not going to set this up. No, there it goes. There it goes. Because I want you to see both of these. So what I've got here is I've got these four shots, and they're different types of shots. So here's a romantic couple, and then the next shot is a storm. And obviously Film Supply. These are samples from Film Supply. And then next you got a skier, and then you've got the guys breaking in. So start with the first shot. The first shot, the easy thing is you can go with, and the only thing all we're going to mess with in this particular presentation is we're going to mess with our 3-way color wheel, and then we'll mess with our basic corrections, which consists of exposure, contrast, highlights, and so on. So you've got your color tones. So here's your mids, your highlights, and your shadows. And so what I tend to do is look for what's the most dominant color in the scene. So we've got greens, and then you've got these. So if I were to just like pull this over here and say, okay, yeah, this is the green area that I want, and then that's going to give me an idea where I want to shoot for in the darker areas. If I'm saying that the greens are my highlights over here, so let's try that. So like I said, I'm trying to go through this as quickly as possible. So we're going to just start. I'm going to hold down my shift key, left click, and I'm going to drag this right over into here. Now we're going to come about so far, and we're going to bring it into the greens. Now it looks much cooler. It's like early morning in spring, but it looks a little too green for a lot of people's taste. You can see a lot of green comes out in their face. So now we're going to come over here. We're going to grab our darks, and we're going to pull our darks up, and that's going to balance this out. And you're going to see once we get into here, then we're going to pull our mids over a little bit. We're going to break down our mids, bring them down. We'll bring our shadows down. We're going to bring that color back, and then we're going to bring our greens up. Then we're going to keep playing with this a little bit. We're getting a little farther. Now it's starting to give us a spring day, and it becomes a creative process. Now, You can take your saturation up a little bit. You can take it down a little bit. You can do whatever you want. Generally, I tend to go with a -0.2 exposure, but in this case, it's not. I'd probably go with like a 0.1 or a 0.2 on the bright. Let's brighten it up a little bit. Contrast, I would not go very high on the contrast as far as bringing out the details. This is the harder you bring it, the harder the lines are and the more gritty it looks. So I'd soften that up a little bit if I'm going to go anywhere, and maybe bring out the shadows just a hair. Leave the whites alone, leave the blacks alone, and then let's just kind of like tweak this a little bit more. I'll pull this up, and next thing you know, you've got a pretty solid color grade. And all I've done is apply this in these same. So you see their skin tones are still okay. It's not too bad, and you've got these really cool kind of like reds and pinks and purples, and we've taken some of the saturation out. So what if I go to 101, or I go to about 120, 115? Oh, not 150. There we go. But you can still see they got good color, and that's just following this color where scheme based off what's here. And when you turn this thing off and on, so here, all of a sudden you see a world of difference in the coloration of that scene. You let it play out. It's very cool. At the same time, you still have the right tones in the shot. All right, moving on to the next one. Here we go. Now we got a storm cloud here. So it's like, once again, I'm just using this color wheel to help me decide what I want to do. I'm saying, okay, I want my darks are going to be more blue, and that means that our lights are going to be more yellow. So let's go with that. Come down here to our color wheels. Once again, darks are blue, so I'm going to pull this down here, get it right in there. You don't have to go all the way down yet. You can get up right in there, and then we're going to take our lights the opposite direction. We'll bring our mediums down. I kind of like split the difference sometimes, but I don't want to go too far down. You can also go up. In this case, I think I did go up, and then we get this very cool kind of like coal, or it's like sunsets, kind of, it's a sunset kind of experience. Then you can come up here, and once again we can go into our basic color correction. We can tweak with the contrast. So if I want to take the contrast up a little bit, if I'd like to bring out the highlights, you don't want to blow it out, but you can bring out your highlights if you want to. We can take our blacks down just a hair and leave the exposure alone. Now what you can do is you can mess with the temperature. You can go hot, you can go cold, you can go hot. And then once again, we turn this on, we turn it off. It's a big difference just in itself. And that's just doing, I mean, that's not even really tweaking it, and that's what it's gonna look like. That's what your finished product looks like. And you can really go at this from any angle. There's really no bad choices here. All right, moving on to the next one, because I promised I was gonna do this quick. All right, so here we have someone on the ski slopes. I see a lot of like pinks and yellows, some bright colors. So let's go with that route. So come up here. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna add a little bit of depth in this exposure. So we're gonna go to like a negative 0.4. I'm gonna darken that up just a little bit. We're gonna bring out a little bit of the contrast. Go maybe a 2, yeah, maybe more than that. Let's see. Bring some depth in there. We'll bring out our highlights to brighten it up a little bit. And then we're gonna scroll down here. Once again, I'm going to my color wheels and just follow the instructions. So my brights are gonna go generally this direction. And here we're going, this is kind of late afternoon. You can desaturate this, you can adjust the temperature, and that's gonna go from cool to dark. And actually this was down a little bit, I believe. Come down some. And then this guy's gonna come over here to the purple, the pinkish one, pinkish, purple, fuchsia, whatever you wanna call it. Okay, and then this, you can offset that. You can go down a little bit over here. You can come into here, and this is really gonna offset it. You can pull this down, take it up, put it down a little bit. There's really no bad decision here. So then here we can drop our saturation down, or we can bring it up a little and feel like you're kind of getting a reflection off some stuff. And you can drop your temperature if you want to, or you can leave it alone. So then you play that and watch this shot. All that from that. So you get dynamic color very simply by focusing where you feel like the colors are, and you're enhancing that with your color grade. All right, final shot. Here's the traditional. Here we're gonna go Batman on you. Okay, so we got some guys busting in, and I'm just gonna show you this. We're gonna go with the stock kind of. It's gonna be a teal. We're gonna go with the teal amber color grade. So there's our teal somewhere in here. I think this is more like right in somewhere around here. I'm gonna find it. There it is. All right, so here's our teal amber color grade. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is come over here. Once again, I'm gonna start out. I'll start out my basic corrections. So I'm gonna just adjust my exposure to -0.2 because I'm gonna darken it up a little bit. I'm gonna bring my contrast up, and that's gonna bring out a lot of the details in the skin. I'll bring the whites up a little bit. You don't want to bring it up too high. You don't want to blow out these other areas. So then we're going to go right back once again into our 3 color wheel, and we're going to follow our little guideline from our Adobe Interactive complementary color guideline, and we're going to take our brights and we're going to go right up in here into these right into this amber looking stuff. Okay. So now you see all the highlights are kind of coming in as amber, and then we're going to bring this guy right down here into this more of a flatter, and then we're going to bring this guy over here, and we're going to do the same thing. And what this does is it gives it that the darks and the shadows are more into the teal range, and the brights are more into the amber range. You can also take this one up here, and you can just bring it back up, and you'll bring some of that amber back into the shot. You know, just as you take your mids up a little bit higher. But I kind of usually my mids depends on if you want it to be warmer or colder. And so finally, and last thing we're going to do is I'm going to come up here, and in this one you can play with the temperature a little bit. So you can just bring up that temperature, and it gets there, it gets richer, or you can take it down, make it really cold. It's your choice. Not a big deal. So there you have it. There you go. I think I did that in under 5 minutes. Once you turn this guy on and off, big difference, right? So let's see this one play out. Simple, easy, and you can do it with all the tools you already have. So hey, if you like this basic, and then this is basic, because I promise you, those other packages, they offer a lot more tools. They can do a lot of stuff that probably you can't do with this particular, the Lumetri plugin, which I like the Lumetri plugin, but even Speed Grade will allow you to break these 3 wheels down into, you can break it into 3 more subcategories. So I think you end up getting like a total of 9 different controllable areas where you can adjust the depth of color in the lows and the mids and the highs. So even Speed Grade offers that, which you don't get really that kind of control right here in Lumetri. But if you're on a low budget, you're on a micro budget, and you're trying to color grade your own stuff, there's some basic tools you can do. So if you like this video, please subscribe, support us, and we will make more videos, and we will see you next time.